This is David Rothbard. I'm here with CFAC TV with Dr. Calvin Beisner, the national spokesman for the Cornwall Alliance for the Stewardship of Creation. Good to have you with us, Cal.
Thank you, David. It's good to be here.
Political change, and that they're out here to demonstrate to their leaders the will for that kind of change. What do you think about the kind of change these protesters are looking for?
Well, it's very clear that they're really not here about temperatures. They're here about political systems. You've seen the Socialist Youth Movement here, the Communist Party here. You've seen various other organizations like that, signs saying system change, not climate change. They want to get rid of freedom. They want to get rid of free markets and capitalism and all of that and replace it with communism, with central government planning. And climate change happens to be the easiest way to do that, because that way they can take advantage of the fears of a warming climate to get control over people's lives.
What do you think should be the reaction of Americans when they look on from America and see this in the streets of Copenhagen?
Well, I think Americans should recognize that there is a significant threat to basic freedoms, to individual rights, to democracy, to limited government. They should realize that what's at stake here is not simply questions about science and about the temperature of the earth, but about what kind of political system our grandchildren are going to live with.
As you've talked to some of these protesters, what do you think about their knowledge of global warming and about what's really going on with the science?
Well, I've asked quite a few of them, why do you believe in man-made global warming? And they haven't been able to give me much of an answer. I'll ask them, for example, how much warming do you expect would happen from doubled CO2 after climate feedbacks? And they just sort of look at me dumbly. They've never thought of any such thing. So clearly they're not here because they are convinced by scientific arguments about global warming being man-made and dangerous. They're here because they're involved in political movements.
What do you think the church needs to do, as the church as a whole, as you look at these issues? You represent the Cornwall Alliance, which there's a voice of faith on these issues of science and technology and economics. What's your message to the church as you stand here on the streets of Copenhagen?
Well, I think the most important thing that the church can do, the most important two things are, one, to pray, and two, to preach the gospel. Because what you see going on around us here is an exercise in irrationalism. So also is belief in man-made global warming. It's pure irrationalism. And the Bible tells us that irrationalism starts off with a lack of the fear of God. The Bible tells us the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And it's because people don't fear God that they begin to fear all kinds of mythical catastrophes. So we need to preach the gospel so that the people come to be reconciled to God, their minds can be remade, and then they can understand reality properly. Anything less than that is not being the church. It's being political, it may be being scientific or anything else, but we need to be first and foremost the church with the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Thanks so much for taking a few minutes to talk with us.
Thank you, David.